Lovely space out here. Alright. Get up and walk around. I hope everyone. Alright, I'm in the common outdoor space for the shopping mall, North Park Center, wearing another handmade, custom-made baseball jersey inspired outfit that I have started to even further customize. It's made for me by the best seamstress I have access to, and wow, what a spectacular job they've done. You know, it's a very light, very thin seersucker. In fact, it's such a thin seersucker, it has to be reinforced in interesting ways, because these are all basically experimental garments for me at the end of the day. And what makes them so interesting, trying to find a semi-flattering angle. Okay, going this way. Walk clear across the line of light for the sun, and obviously into an area where the angles are less flattering. But this won't be a long video. I'm just talking about what I'm always talking about. I mean, not the upcycling part. Yes, definitely try to wear more upcycled clothing if they fit into your lifestyle, financially and realistically, especially concerning your weather, your climate. Here in Texas, I mean, you can see I'm sweating bullets. And a lot of you who are visiting the States here from Europe realize how hot Texas is if you've come here. Yes, it is. And it's, you know, if it were drier heat like Vegas, which I know people in Europe have no interest in for the most part, but if it were drier heat like the desert, the humidity wasn't just a factor, it would be different. But you lose so much more coolness faster when your body's also using water. The humidity, it seems more brutal over time because you end up more dehydrated. The plus side of that is that the easiest way to get comfortable again is to hydrate, which is why we Americans have so much ice. There's just crazy differences here in the States, that the whole FIFA World Cup thing, which you can hear in the background, there's a screen right there. It's not going to focus in on it. You can't zoom in on this factor. And included in your ability to mitigate heat is your climate, and included in that is the argument of why I'm saying, despite the fact that I'm obviously and exceptionally encouraging everyone to wear upcycled and recycled as much as they can, as realistically as they can. There's a lot of factors. It's actually a complex issue when you look at textiles and fabrics with upcycling, but it's doable. This particular outfit, which again is custom made for me, so it isn't perfect, it has its flaws, but right now we're getting sort of a foundation down. It's really quite, you know, and you recognize it based on the cut of the shoulders and things like that. It's obviously inspired by a jersey, and it's obviously really comfortable. Even though this is a little form-fitting on me, it's really comfortable. And that's because it is, I washed it. When it was first made, it's exceptionally thin seersucker that's so thin, you really couldn't justify this in a commercial version. But for just me to wear and repair, it's fine, which brings in another factor. Since it's something made for me that I keep for years, when there's a problem with it, just repair it. Which, incidentally, is one of the selling points for welt-soled shoes. The types of shoes and boots that my friends in the heritage arena sort of praise. You can recycle those shoes because they're welted. That means they're sewn on by hand, so when the soles wear out, you just get them repaired. And which is such an interesting argument Um, Not that I agree or disagree, I'm just commenting. When I get damage to this, I just repair it and move on. Therefore, for me, it is a high value garment. For the traditional way of shoes being made, for the Goodyear rubber and the welting and all that other stuff, when there is an issue and even if the tops, the leathers are damaged, they repair it. But specifically the soles of the shoes pretty much have a lifetime guarantee, where you buy it once and then they just repair it for the length of, you own it. And I kind of like that. I'm just wondering how well that fits into more people's lifestyles. And I'm pushing this, if any of this stuff, which again, not all these materials are top notch, because it's easier to reach to your left or right and pull what you need out of the box, even if it's just mid-level quality, but it's right there, as opposed to taking another trip to the ever-shrinking pool of fabric stores or having to order it online and wait and get out of your vibe, get out of your headspace of what you're trying to build. I'm just saying that there's got to be a practical and more realistic look into, especially men's clothing. Women have a little bit better intuition on what they want to wear and why they want to wear it, because they're just tapped into the fact that this is an emotional thing. Where when men are trying to shop, they always try to justify it in some way. Men who like to shop are unfortunately always trying to find some sort of excuse. I got to explain it. These boots are the best. Just say you like the fucking boots, dude. Because me personally, I could give two rats' asses if it's the welted sole shoes, which can certainly look nice in certain brands, certain styles, or the I think it's impacted molded shoes. And I say that because the military, since the Vietnam War, combat boots have been the impact molded. They're not welted. They're not sewn on hand by hand. And that's the Vietnam War, which is one of America's famous conflagrations. And what that means, different than World War II, since I am a veteran, I'll explain it to you. The heritage movement will talk about, the welted soled shoes are superior, lifetime guarantee, replacing. That's not wrong. Those are two facts, but two things can be right at the same time, dealing with the solution to the same problem. The Vietnam War arguably was more intense with modern weapons, more issues, and the survival equipment arguably went through a more sustained and rigorous process than even World War II, due to the advances in technology. You've got soldiers dealing with a lot more disease and a lot more advanced weapons. Basically, the guns shoot faster, do more damage, and the fires run hotter. Just more going on in Vietnam. It arguably is a much more intense conflict. And so your field jackets, jungle boots, all that are advanced compared to World War II. Fight me if you disagree. And what that translates into, not that the stuff from World War II is bad at all, it's just the best that could be done under what were a lot of circumstances, limited time to really get the shit together, limited time to properly source our resources. It's just a different energy and different end result. Not that they didn't do an excellent job, because of course it's from World War II that we get all our leather flying jackets from. But you notice by the time the Vietnam War had come around, that was all much more lightweight, much breathable, nylon, Nomex, and fire retardant. And it actually did the job better. Leather, as much as we love it, as handsome as it is, actually isn't great in extreme temperatures. Doesn't really keep you warm unless you really layer it up. There's some limitations to leather when you're trying to use it in a modern military context, especially when you're talking about downed air crews and survival. Nylon and Nomex is just superior material for the process, for flight crews. And you see that in leather flying jackets continue to be the variation that is the most sought after, even as generations go on. However, the field jacket from Vietnam is much more iconic, sought after, collectible, whatever you want to call it, than the field jacket from the prior conflicts. And thanks to heritage people in Hollywood, it's much more sought after than the much superior everything since that jacket was, I'm talking about the M65. Everything the military has issued as an outer garment since the Vietnam War is orders of magnitude lighter, better, warmer, more water resistant, and everything. But the M65 still continues to be something that it looks like a chore jacket. It's recognizable. You know, it's got the aura. But every jacket that I wore in the Navy, whether I was on board ship or on joint unit or with the teams, and you know what that means, or surface fleet, whatever, each one of those outer garments would basically shit all over the M65. The only thing the M65 really, really did well comparatively was it had more pocket space. But water resistance, the original version, unless you're getting something reproduced by Poplar, which the one company still producing the Vietnam era jacket is the one company that nobody respects. When everybody wants to go to Japan and get their M6, when like the company that has the contract and did it, anyway, get into that. Heritage is weird, but one of the things they're right about, I didn't mean to swerve over into the jacket thing. When I talked about heritage, I wanted to talk about boots, because they are mold injected boots, not the welted, and I wore mold injected boots all through my time in the military. I don't necessarily agree or think that the older way is the better way just because it's different. You know, I can see how mold injected boots, if they get dry enough, if they can literally dry out and crack, but I've seen $200, $300, $400, $500 tennis shoes do that. In theory, the military boot could, but I haven't seen it happen. And the last 10 years of the global war on terror, special operations switched over to a boot that's essentially made by Nike, that is essentially a militarized high-top sneaker, not unlike the chunky sneakers that were popular in 2008, 9, 10, 11, 12, and incredibly comfortable, incredibly durable. That is that is the best shit your money can buy as far as a durable boot. The boots that were being worn by Navy SEALs and Green Berets. But that's not what the people saying online. They want you to buy some handmade chukka boot made by, 6 guys, in somebody's backyard in Belgium. Or they want to get, something made by Japan or whatever. And it's shit like that I think makes it difficult. That attempt at that disorganized from outside looking in attempt by the heritage guys and most of your a particular type of men's fashion guys, the way they are presenting their cork sniffed kind of bullshit. It's nothing that they're saying is wrong or bad. It's just they're trying to create or cherry pick their own little luxury products and project makers and artisans. And truth be told, is here in the United States of America, if you've got $300, $400, $500 to spend, $600, $700 to spend on something, you can fucking find someone here in America who will fucking make it for you. I don't have to contact someone in Belgium or Korea or Japan, even Japan. I don't give a flying flippity fuck how would require you better or whatever. It's just, especially if you're asking them to make you a garment that was state of the art for the United States Armed Forces 50 years ago.